the current regulation. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you here today to 6th round of XRL Developments League here at Monza in the great nation of Italy. I'm your host for today's I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insane Leader 13. I'm being joined today by PPR Venom as we're preparing to get underway for our first round of qualifying here at Monza. Alright, Venom, it's nice to be able to jump in here, share the broadcasting booth with you here as we prepare to get underway for a race here at one of the most legendary circuits, not just in Formula 1 racing, but in all of European racing here at Monza. Not the high-banked oval, sadly. We're still running on a relatively flat circuit, but this could end up being a very interesting race because in his today, we're going to see a lot of drivers who will be running the realistic race that goes on later today. Some drivers running in X2 and X3 tomorrow. This event could give us an idea, a little window into what we can expect for the rest of this weekend.
Oh, 100%. I definitely agree there.
Alright, so at the moment, there are only 15 drivers lined up to go. We could still see one more person slide in before we complete our first round of qualifying. If so, then we will see someone get dropped. But as it stands right now, 15 drivers here, it means that all you really have to do is just get out there, set a lap, make sure it's a legal lap, and then you automatically advance into the next session. But we've seen time and time again at other circuits, just having those simple requirements in itself can be very, very difficult to complete. Curbs are extremely difficult, as TF Mr. Shark is serving a qualifying ban, so he will not advance to the next round, obviously. Curbs are very difficult to deal with. You can run over them in a bad way and all of a sudden find yourself completely sideways and around. And our first driver out into the track right now is Bauer Power 9. He is out there trying to do some torture to get some information against the terrorist in the next hit season of 24, whenever he's not moonlighting here as an Alfa Romeo driver for XRL Dev Series.
Yeah, but I think a specific key for drivers today is going to be watching out for those curves, like you mentioned. The chicane Bauer's coming up to right now is going to be probably the most deadly, because if you hit that inside curb on the second part of the chicane, you are immediately launching into the gravel trap and cross, and you can lose many positions in the race. So I think this will be a key point for drivers today.
And not just that, you get launched in that gravel trap, and there's not a whole lot of gravel trap out there. If you're not able to arrest the car's spin or slide early on, you can go easily right into the wall, knock off your front wing, or even knock out a tire and knock yourself out of the race.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that goes for almost any chicane here at Monza, but I feel like that chicane specifically has the most launchable curves that will just immediately kick you right in the wall if you're not cautious.
There is a Ferrari that's gone off, and that is Plastic Love, who has gone off there just a few corners farther down, has lost the entire front wing already. And the home team is not celebrating a home team advantage right now, it would appear. And that would be our first accident of our session.
You know, let's see here.
XRL Jigsaw has now come out onto the circuit as he's trying to get a lap in. Jigsaw is out here trying to fight for an X3 championship. X3 drivers are allowed the ability to go ahead and reserve for a spot in the dev race the event before. A lot of X3 drivers will do so in order to really crank up their pace, see what exactly they can do, push their strategy, and use this as a way to kind of give them a test and see what would be best for their run in X3. Two of our championship contenders in X3, XRL Veloce and XRL Jigsaw, are running in today's dev race today. I honestly think those two could easily win, because not only are Veloce and Jigsaw X3 drivers, they're both drivers that honestly have pace comparable to X2 or even X1 drivers. A problem for them, though, they need to be able to finish races.
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest difference between X1, X2, and X3. People will be like, oh, like, these people are similar pace. Why is somebody in X3 and not in X1? because they can't finish races. Consistency is also part of the game here, especially when it comes to championship seasons. You can't be the quickest man on track in DNF every race and expect yourself to get into X1.
Yeah, this is something that X-Road Jigsaw in particular is very familiar with, and I'll still grief him over it from time to time. I remember at one time at Zandvoort last season, he had a 40-second lead over the rest of the field, and there were only 8 cars left in the event. He crashed out of the last corner right before hitting the 90% mark. The man who was running second got disqualified altogether for too many time penalties. The man who was running third, who ended up inheriting the race win, was his main rival in the championship. That kind of thing took Jigsaw out of the title contention for X3 last season before we even got to the end of the year. It's so imperative to be able to finish races in the points.
Yep, I feel like that is... I mean, obviously it's going to be imperative to finish the points. You only win championships by getting points, but even finishing is half the game here. As we have the 2 Alpha Towers currently locking up at 1-2 on the grid right now. I know it is only Q1, but we could see an early precursor here to how the grid shapes up in Q3.
Going to go ahead, I'm looking to see. So right now, X-Road Jigsaw is running very slowly through Sector 2 right now, but he has charged his ERS back up. I have to think that right now he's just preparing to try and get a proper flying lap in, and he's moving aside to let other drivers by. Right now, though, level 6 BC, and he is coming through the final little chicane and flying down the second of the 2 back straightaways. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, be quiet in the booth, and spin the full lap on board with level 6 BC in the McLaren, see what kind of lap time he can put down in that machine. Sign up for a whole lap here. And level 6 Beastin on the medium tire compound sits at time 129.097. We know they can go a lot faster. That was 6 seconds off the next slowest, well, 4 seconds off the next slowest time, and then it's 8 seconds off his teammate Shu's time. The big thing to consider, though, Beastian, he had that little bit of a skirt into the gravel at that very second chicane that you were mentioning earlier, and then he also very nearly ran into his teammate level 6 Beastian, not once, but twice. So the McLaren's trying to time something out to get a bit of a drag down the second of the 2 back straightaways, end up compromising their lines. And, ooh, wow,
Goodness.
the McLaren bouncing over the curbs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it looks like the rear end of BC's McLaren appears to be very lively right now. I can't really seem to understand if it's going to snap on him with oversteer coming out of the corner, if it's going to give him some understeer because it won't grip enough. I mean, it just looks like the car is not that fun to drive on these medium tires.
No. And the hilarious thing about that is the rear definitely does not seem very happy, but he seems very confident with the nose of the car, and it's almost like he's letting the front of the car dictate everything to the detriment, because I'm seeing him really toss it into some of these corners and then kind of trying to make it up for the rest of the corners, trying to save everything afterwards.
I mean, like right there, out of Scary, it looks like he kind of clips the inside curb there, and the rear shouldn't really like snap on you like that. He looks like he drifted almost across the whole circuit trying to catch it.
Well, BC will go ahead and come into the pits, and with only 14 drivers eligible to set laps right now, all you really have to do is just clock a lap. It can be a horrible lap, but just clock a lap, retire in the pits. You're automatically locked in the second session. One other thing to consider, we see 5 drivers thus far have set their times on medium tires. That's Extra Veloce, Extra Zola, Herbinator 13, JR Footballer, and Level 6 Bestium. The advantage of using the medium tires here in Q1 is that this game still runs under the qualifying rules that we saw set in 2021 and before, where Q2 is where you decide the tires you use. You have the ability to burn up a set of worse tires in the first session. Go ahead and do that, then you can have more soft tires that you can utilize. And TIF Mr. Shark has crashed out in a Scary!
That was Herbinator, but yeah, he did crash out in a Scary there. I'm guessing we won't get this. Guessing from where he is, he probably rode that inside of the Scary on the second turn of the Scary, probably rode that curb too much, clipped one of these soft curbs are on the very inside of the Scary, clipped it, sent his car around, he crashes into the wall, and now he's out of qualifying.
And that car buried in the gravel trap in the wall. A little bit of a twitch from Lopez as he goes by. So at this point, that means that right now, everyone with the exception of the Haas of Extra Flavor has set a time in the session here. SFR Shu is coming back out onto the circuit, so he wants to prove that he's the fastest man here.
Plastic is beached on a curb. He's beached. I'm not sure. He's disqualified from the session.
Oh, and he's been disqualified. Oh, wow. And for the Ferrari team, that is pain, because that means he's not going to get a chance to move into the next session. Herbinator's not going to move into the next session. Mr. Shark's not allowed to qualify. We're only going to have 12 people going into round 2 of qualifying here.
Yeah, I mean, that is... So we had a moment like this occur in another league I was in, and we decided, I'm not sure if it'll be decided here for it's going to be similar circumstance, but we decided that if a car gets beached on a curb like that, it's the exact same curb right there, except he's facing the other direction. We decided that if a car is beached on a location like that, they are allowed to reset the track if an attempt is made to move the car and it does not happen.
Alright, well, real quickly, coming in the party is Plastic Love. Love, go ahead, include your audio. You're in a Ferrari, it's a Ferrari home race, and you get disqualified being stuck on a curb. What happened out there that got you beached like that?
You know, I just don't think it was my session to start off with. Basically, I flew straight into the wall, the controller died, and just went off. And then here, I took the curb a little too much and spun. Saw people were coming in the way, so I backed up and just got beached.
Rough, it looks like you're going to be starting 14th in a field of about 15 cars a day. Do you think you have a chance to make it into the points-paying positions?
Yeah, I mean, not to undermine Dev, but I think I have pretty good speed here, so...
Alright, well, we'll be looking forward to seeing you try and climb your way up the grid today, mate.
Yep, see ya.
Alright, well, that's the word from Plastic Love. So 3 drivers not going to advance by the looks of it. Actually, I'm sorry, I said we have 15 people. I think I'm wrong. I think we only have 14 people right now.
I don't see a 12th position on our grid here. So
yeah, so only 11 drivers right now are poised to advance to the next round of qualifying.
What a weird session this is going to be. One driver is going to get knocked out in Q2. Never happens, it seems like.
Yeah, normally we see a minimum of 12 people going into the second round of qualifying. And with the fact that we've had a disqualification after a spin and then a crash in this session alone, we could very easily see the setup for Q3 set in the first 3 minutes of Q2. It's just one of those strange scenarios.
Yep, I feel like in Q2, drivers are going to have to do the same thing that are here, just set a lap, and then if you are the slowest driver, obviously you have to push them. But it seems like for some of these drivers, just getting around Monza is having to be proving to be difficult here, especially with how the curves are. It's proving to be very violent if you make a mistake.
And that actually brings up to one thing, and I've talked about this with almost everyone I've gotten to share the booth with over the last few weeks. Going in from this game into the next game. Next game, F1 2022, is going to have a brand new engine. It's using EA's Frostbite engine, if memory serves correctly, which is a very controversial engine, but it's one that they're going to try and make work for this. A big issue in this game has been curbs, and the cars are very sensitive going over curbs. Next regulation of cars, though, you're going to have them even lower to the ground and even stiffer. The curbs, will they end up being worse going to the next game?
Personally, if we were to go based off of in real life F1 and how the game has acted now, I think they will personally be almost untouchable. Like, you will barely find a curb, possibly, except if they are like completely flat, like Saudi Arabia's curbs. Unless they are exactly like that, I don't think you'll be touching curbs, because already in this game you have some curves where it's like you clip too much of it and you get launched, just like here at Turn 2 Monza. You have curves where you ride them too much even with just like a fraction of your tire and it spins you around. You have curves where if you don't send the whole car over it, you lose 9/10 of a second, even though it doesn't make sense how the car could even clear the curb. It seems so inconsistent in this game that if the curbs are going to be even worse because of how the next regulation of cars are going to be, I feel like it's going to be almost undrivable.
Alright, so do you think it will get worse even despite the fact that we're getting a brand new engine, though?
I think so, because the way that because even though we're going to a brand new engine, that doesn't necessarily mean the physics of this game are going to be changed. Yeah, it may be running on something different, and it might be a little different, but I'm expecting it to be almost very similar to how it runs now. Like, perfect example there is the Mercedes going over those curves. Like, he kind of touched the sausage and the whole car like goes airborne.
Fair enough. I do hope you're wrong. Don't get me wrong, I am somewhat glad that, the curbs and the carb mean that you have to somewhat follow track limits in this game. That's the way it should be, and not just based off of a race director's call. But at the same time, it does get a little bit annoying seeing how almost randomized the field has been. The field finishes just because of the way the curbs are, and you can't take, in many cases, proper racing lines. And that's been something we've had. It was an issue a bit in the last game. It's really, really taken off here in 2021, though.
Yeah, and I also feel like what's kind of stupid is, like, if you go into that second chicane and say you turn in too late, but you are still trying to make an attempt to make the corner because we are on strict rules here, you will probably get a warning if you have to cut that corner, and 2 more, you're already with a 3-second penalty. If you make a mistake and you turn in too late, or you turn in too early, and you happen to launch those curbs, you are probably going to ruin your race. Because you're either getting damage, you're hitting another car's damage, you're getting a warning, or you're completely spinning out the race because the curbs are just so violent that one single mistake on a one-line corner ends your race.
Yeah. Well, as of now, we have 3 drivers going out doing race pace runs on their soft tires. XRL Jigsaw, XRL Lopez, and Herbago 91 are all just circling the track with says soft tires, trying to push and see how far they can run the softs until they start really falling off. And right now I'm watching Jigsaw, who is in the Aston Martin. Jigsaw has the 8th fastest time thus far in the session, as we're coming down to about a minute left, so...
Well, if memory serves correctly, softs on most surfaces are about 25 to 27 laps, go about 10-ish laps depending on how harsh your tire wear is, so I expect to see the same kind of results here.
Jigsaw for a 2nd lap in a row invalidates coming out of a Ascari, and at the end of the session too, he'd said he was 7/10 down on his prior fastest time. Just behind him on the track, Herbago is just about out of fuel, and I imagine he's going to abort this little run now and probably bring it into the pits. Yep, that's what he's going to do. So yeah, it's only the Red Bull of Lopez and the Aston Martin of Jigsaw left on the circuit right now. And Lopez, the tires have really fallen off. He's just in Sector 1 alone now. Christ alive, did you see him jump over the curb there?
Yeah, exactly what I'm talking about. He barely makes a mistake there. He probably has to correct. He hits a curb and he launches his car and takes off like an airplane.
And before he even got to that curb, he was already down by 1.3 seconds. So he's turned 7 laps in this set of tires. I think the way that Red Bull is set up, it's set up for single lap pace, not really set up to preserve the tire wear. Coming at the end of Sector 2, 3.3 seconds off. And when while he did fly, he didn't exactly fall way off the racing line. I think the Red Bull that Lopez is in does not have great long-term pace. But I think with that in mind, if he has fresh tires and we have a late race restart, he may be in a good position. But still, that's not speaking very good for Lopez's car setup for this event.
Yeah, and I think that's something that drivers have to take in consideration is how they do set up their cars, because with how the game works, if you were to take a setup probably directly off the TT and not even test it to see if it would be like a good race-based surf, it's only a qualifying setup, I feel like drivers need to start connecting the dots to how setups work, because if you set up the car specifically for qualifying, you are hurting yourself, possibly for any points. Like you said with Lopez, looks like he's riding his tires really hard. Even after 8 laps, he's already fallen massively off the pace.
Yeah. Jigsaw brings it into the pits, and with that, Q1 will finally come to an end. But I was watching Jigsaw. His time at the end of Sector 2 on his in-lap, he was up by over 15 hundredths, so I think Jigsaw can potentially go a little faster than what we saw there. But yeah, TF Mr. Shark will be kind of grandfathered into the next round of qualifying, but he is still serving a qualifying ban, so he's not going to be allowed to take to the track anyway. So 11 drivers make it in. Level 6 BC JR Footballer, XRL Flavor, XRL Jigsaw, Dad Stop Gaming, XRL Lopez, XRL Zola, XRL Veloce, Bauer Power 9, SFR Shoe 381, and Herbago 91 will be the drivers who make it into the second round of qualifying. 11 drivers vying for 10 spots. It's like an old riddle that I once heard. How do you divide 17 apples among 16 people?
That's the thing. You don't.
I mean, you make applesauce, so someone here is going to get smashed into applesauce, but yeah.
Well, something I'm kind of wondering too is, of those drivers, how many didn't touch their mediums are going to try and qualify into Q2 with only, let's see here, 1 driver that has to be eliminated after Mr. Shark retires? Or are some going to try and do the opposite strategy and try and go medium to softs and see what they can do with the opposing strategy here?
Yeah. So you believe the best strategy for this race here, again, 50% long race, you think best strategy is single stop, medium to soft, or soft to mediums?
100%. But the thing is with that opposing strategy, those strategies heavily rely on a safety car. If a safety car happens, the soft runner is going to be able to extend their soft tires stint, so they can easily neutralize how long you go on those mediums, and then you'll be stuck with them on pressure tires at the end on their mediums, and you will be on your warm softs. So I mean, it's all to play for. But we have 4 drivers currently on mediums right now.
And we have 3 drivers on track right now. JR Football and XR Veloce both are on soft tire compounds. Bauer Power 9 is on the mediums at the moment.
So with these alphas being on track, do you think there will be some team games here with like draft and how it works, or do you think they'll try and separate themselves?
I do apologize for that. I had to step away for a brief second. If you said something to me, I will have to ask for you. Please repeat it.
Yeah, with the alphas being on track, I think I'm getting my question answered, but do you think they're going to try and play some games with like Bauer getting dragged along by JR Football on the softs here?
It looks like that may be a potential strategy. The problem, though, is that it reduces the efficiency of JR Footballer's tires. What Footballer will probably want to do is absolutely go ham this lap, get the fastest lap he can possibly done right here, and then on his cooldown lap, pick up Bauer Power for the second DRS straight, and then that non-DRS back straightaway. But that's just my suggestion, my opinion, and my strategy, well, I'll put it to you this way. I've won quite a few races on strategy in my career, but not in this game. All of my victories have come in the Forza series, so don't necessarily listen to my strategies.
Well, because it did look like he did pull out a very long gap before Bauer went, so could be I was just talking some junk, but we'll see.
Well, everyone is on track qualifying with the exception of the McLarens of SFR Shu and Level 6 Beastian and XRL Zola right now. For JR Footballer, there's not a lot of fuel in that machine as he's coming to the line. Velocious at the time everyone's casing, 121.011, Footballer 121.176, and now we'll see Bauer Power come to the line. He sets a 121.637 on the mediums. He can go again. So if he times this right with his teammate, Footballer, well, no, I take that back because it looks like Bauer Power is not going to go hard on another lap. But if he went for another flyer, he could potentially have caught his teammate and has teammate drag him through the end of Sector 2 and through Sector 3.
It definitely could have been a possibility there, but maybe that's what's happening with the AlphaTauris here. As Vlache's already done his lap and Dad is on his... Oh, nope, he's let it by. We are talking complete junk here.
So I just found something out, and I did not realize this. Bauer Power is not just anyone. His name, once upon a time, was XRL Sack, and he is a former champion for the X1 series. He has returned after 2 seasons of inactivity. So, interesting scenario there. Also, a very late decision to come into this game when this game is nearly at the end of its life cycle, but I can understand why. Go ahead, get qualified through Dev now, so that way when you get kind of racked and stacked into your proper series, your proper tier, when the next game comes out, you don't have to waste valuable races early on. But I guess in that case, welcome back to XRL Sack, now known as Bauer Power.
I didn't realize that was Sack. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm a defensive legend right now.
I barely remember him. He was around he was already X1 exclusive pretty much when I started broadcasting at the very end of the life cycle for F1 2019.
Yeah, he was like our top gravy. Like if you wanted to test your gravy and how good you were in XRL, you would face Sack and see if you could beat him. And most likely you could.
Flavor sets a time 123.586. So right now, Zola, Shu, and Beastian all have yet to set their times. Zola and Shu already on laps. Shu on the mediums, Zola on the softs. Beastian has not yet come out onto the circuit. So, I do want to ask your opinion on something, and this kind of relates to real-life F1.
Alright.
Well, it does relate to real-life F1. So, over the last few years, basically since about the start of 2019, we've seen a scenario where Formula 1 at Monza, no one wants to go on circuit. The draft is so important and so powerful and so all-encompassing that drivers wait until the last possible moment to go out on circuit in the qualifying sessions. Do you think that holds true for this set of F1 regs that we have right now? And do you think that we see the same thing happen on other speed-focused circuits like Spa-Francorchamps or Montreal?
I think it definitely could be a possibility, especially with what we've seen with because the cars do appear to be able to follow closer. I think that has been accomplished by the new regs. DRS does look to be even more powerful, as we've already seen Charles and Max play strategy games when it comes to DRS. So I do think it's going to be another test of who's going to come out latest, because it seems like it's going to be another set of whoever goes out first is getting the last in qualifying, just because of how important the slipstream is. Yeah, especially.
And do you think we'll see it on circuits beyond Monza? I'm looking primarily at possibly Spa or Montreal.
I think Spa. I'm not sure about Montreal. Montreal might be really the only thing that stands out to me at Montreal is the major back straight before you go through the final chicane of the front straight. But I would say Baku. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the situation there. Spa
I didn't think
definitely
about that.
with Camel straight. Trying to think, possibly Brazil with how long that like straight is, maybe.
Yeah, but you come from there, coming out from a very slow acceleration, and you're burning a lot of speed going uphill. You put a lot of downforce on. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I wouldn't have thought of Brazil as a potential area we see it happen at.
Well,
So then the next question is, I guess, if it starts happening at tracks beyond Monza, if it happens just one race in a 23 race season, you just, haha, that's funny, that's stupid. If it starts happening time and time again, what can Formula One do? What can the FIA do to try and keep it from becoming an endemic problem?
well, if they have to, I mean, they could change it to where they change the entire qualifying format, or they eliminate DRS. But then that would only make the slipstream even that more important because you need to be in it to try and gain that much more emphasis on top speed. So I mean that could be one solution, maybe eliminating DRS, but I think that would just be maybe a temporary band-aid fix that wouldn't actually do anything. My best guess would be to change the qualifying format if that's how it's going to be, like do something similar to possibly like NASCAR, how they have one car go out on track, they set a couple laps, you get the average, and then they come in. Or you do IndyCar where you have two groups of qualifying. Stuff like that. I mean, just maybe try out a different qualifying formats as if they're doing sprint races and see how it works.
One idea I have is Zola goes ahead and sets a time 121.646. So real quickly, focusing back on this, XR Lopez is on the bubble with a 29.290, level 6 Beastian, has yet to set a time. As Bauer Power now goes to the top with a 120.545. I would be very interested to see F1 return to its roots a bit and just go single car qualifying.
I think that.
I think either single car qualifying or have two cars on the same team qualifying at the same time, but with a significant gap in time between them, so the two can't influence each other.
Yep.
Like you have two McLarens, one McLaren go out, and then like 30 seconds later have the second McLaren go out.
Yep. I think that could be something they could do. That would be interesting. But it's just under the current format, especially in Q3, and especially at Monza, where track position is super important because DRS strains are very prevalent. I think that if you want to eliminate just all that like shenanigans that people do have, because track position is so important, they have to change the format up rather than changing how the cars work, because you can't solve everything. You can solve the major problem, and the major problem is just how important that slipstream is with another car.
Alright, Beastie now beginning his flying lap as JR Footballer has retired in pit lane. So right now the fight is between XRO Lopez and level 6 Beastian.
Could also be
at the moment
between Shu and Deadstop Gaming, because those bottom three are not separated by very much. Only a couple hundred,
Yeah, this is a good point. I think if you're in the 121s, you're pretty much safe. The question is just going to be, what can Beastian pull out? And then not just that, can Beastian pull his stuff out fast enough before anyone else can respond? Now, Lopez has already responded. He initially set his time of 22.290 on the medium tires. He's taken off the mediums, he's put on softs, and he's already back out on track on another outlap. So if Lopez doesn't invalidate his time, it will put the AlphaTauri of Dadstop Gaming into 10th on the bubble position.
There is still enough time for them to come out, though, so I do think that we could see, because like Shu's already coming out, and we could definitely see Dadstop come out here in a minute. I mean, there's enough time for people to get on track and still get around, so.
Would you rather start on mediums or softs? Well, would you rather start on mediums with a worse starting position or softs with a better starting position?
I would rather start on softs with a better starting position, because well, this is Monza. Turn 1 is notorious for being a place of mayhem, front wing damage, and just some incidents naturally that happened in the first few laps on the first two chicanes. I mean, I personally would like to stay ahead of that carnage and basically only have 1 or 2 cars in front of me instead of the whole field breaking in front of me and shenanigans happening, being caught in something. So
seems reasonable, I guess. I've always preferred tires with track position, but again, this is not my wheelhouse of racing, and I do think you probably do have a better grasp on the strategy than I would.
Yeah, because the thing
Lopez is
go
up significantly on his time right now. I think Lopez is going to move well up the grid and push Dad Stop Gaming onto the bubble, but the McLaren of level 6 Beastian has not been able to get a lap in. That's been fast enough to really challenge him yet.
He's 2/10 down, and he was drifting into the grass there on that straight. Like, it doesn't look like he's comfortable with his car at all. I mean, just like drifting on the grass. I mean, it doesn't look like he's most comfortable through corners, as if scared to try and really send the car through corners, that the car's gonna like snap on him.
Well, with 1 minute and 13 seconds left in the session, he needs to get this lap.
He pits.
Nope, he's retired. That's it. Session's over.
Session's over.
Session's over.
Could back off here, and if he's
still in the pits. Dad Stop's still in the pits.
His best is on those softs though, so he will be starting on those 3-lap old softs.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, the way that sets everything up, then it will be Bauer Power 9, Herbago 91, XR Veloce, Garafa, big twitch by SFR Shoe there. Garafa Footballer, XRO Lopez, XRO Zola, XRO Flavor, XRO Jigsaw, SFR Shoe, and Dad Stop Gaming. Those will be your 10 drivers fighting for the top 10 positions.
I think the Shoe's up 7/10. He's going to improve massively here. Oh, and cools it off at the line to stay on his mediums. I wonder if Jigsaw's going to do the same. That was what I was going to say. It was like, I wonder if they're going to try and start on those mediums they have. Because like Jigsaw's also up over half a second, and invalidates.
Yeah, but he invalidates.
Just as much. Love to call stuff. But I think going back to the strategy of starting on mediums in the back or starting on softs, because the thing is that even though you have that strategy, because especially with how sometimes especially in Dev here with like Bauer being in here, with how like separating this field's pace could be, if you're at the back there and you're caught between a bunch of like maybe slower drivers than you that are
and coming into the party real quickly, mate. Coming into the party right now is level 6 Beastian. Beastian, go ahead and include your audio. You went out there, set a bunch of laps. Yes, we're not able to get into the next round. Is there an issue with the setup of the car, or what else is it?
Nah, I always struggled to go minimum speed tracks like here in Austria, so I wasn't really expecting anything. But it was kind of weird that I was losing time every single chicane, so it's just, I don't know, not my strongest track. So hopefully for the race, it'll be better.
Alright, well, you are going to be starting 11, so you'll have whatever tire compound you want to start the event. Hopefully you can turn that into a decent point stay.
Yeah, pretty much just a hope for it, so. What's up?
Alright, thanks for jumping in, mate.
No problem. Catch you guys later.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
So while level 6 BCN steps out of the broadcasting booth, his teammate SFR Shoe coasts his McLaren into the pit lane and brings an official in to the second round of qualifying here at Monza.
Yep, so we got Shoe and Jigsaw starting on medium, so I want to keep my eye on them too in Q3, because the higher they start on the grid, the better they're going to be on those mediums, because everyone else here is on soft, so for them, their qualifying position is going to be uber important for their strategy.
For TF Mr. Shark, this kind of worked in his way. He's serving a qualifying ban, and yet he's starting 12th in a 14-car grid. It's kind of hilarious, starting way higher up than he really was supposed to. But yeah, 8 of our top 10 starters will be on worn soft tires. Dad Stop is going to be on tires that are 3-lap worn. I think for Dad Stop, he's going to be hoping for a yellow flag very early on, and he might not go soft to mediums. He might go soft to hards.
I could see that, but I feel like touching the hards on Monza is almost like a death sentence, because usually the hards on this game are while they do last usually almost the whole distance of Grand Prix, they are like usually like take a lap or two to get up to a temperature to where you can feel comfortable pushing them. They are usually kind of a little slidey, that you have to really change your diff settings to make sure that you don't completely like try and spin the car up, putting the power down. I mean, hards usually are just not the best tire unless you're at a high deck circuit. This is not one of the high deck circuits.
This is true, but at the same time, would you have confidence in swapping over to mediums on, let's say, lap 3 and being able to make those mediums last to the end of the race?
Oh, 100% no. The only tire from lap 3 that would make it would be those hards, but it's just I would not be comfortable on those hards.
This is personally, I think that for Dad Stop Gaming, that's kind of his only option. He needs to try and, hope that there's a early race yellow. Don't be the early race yellow. And then pit before, we start getting the spread out DRS trains and before DRS activates. But again, that's just me. Well, this has gotten very interesting because almost immediately, 8 of our 10 drivers get out on circuit. Dad Stop Gaming and Zola do not, and Jigsaw has hit Lopez!
Well, there goes one of our medium runners. He's going to start at best P5.
At best P6, you mean?
Well,
because if he qualifies fastest, you have to add 5 to 1. That would be 6.
Totally, yep. I am stupid. Yep, so P6, most likely going to be probably an 8th, 9th, maybe probably 10th position start. So already unfortunate for Jigsaw here early on.
Well, that's definitely going to make things interesting, but I think it's going to be a fight between maybe Bauer Power 9 and XR Veloce for the pole position. Bauer did set one of the fastest times at the end of the second round of qualifying there. It's taken him a little bit of time to get to grips, but we are starting to see hints of that qualifying potential, that championship potential that he has once more show itself.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone is on track right now except for Zola. This circuit is going to get very busy very fast.
Jigsaw has retired from the session. He has already just said, nope, not even going to try. As Dad Stop retires.
And Dad Stop? No, he's not retired. He's crashed.
Yeah, he's crashed. He's retired at the exit there. It looks like he possibly caught the curb on that first corner and probably gunned it, trying to compensate for possibly the time loss. Probably gunned it after hopping over that curb. The car is so unsettled from popping that curb, he spins right into the wall.
This is going to get interesting because now we're down to just 8 drivers saying their times. Jigsaw, it says 7th right now, but he's not going to start any better than 9th or 10th now. And with that in mind, Jigsaw also have to factor in that grid penalty. He's going to get dropped to the back of the field pretty much.
Basically, yeah. Jigsaw is going to be... Is he going to have to abide by his Q2 tire rule? Because if so, he's going to be starting on mediums that he ran on. Not even fresh mediums, yep. That could be slightly worn, so...
Yeah. Well, Veloce sets the time everyone's going to be gunning for, 120.785, SFR Shoe 120.397, Herbago 120.624, so he now goes to the top. Now we turn our focus to the Alfa Romeos. Bauer Power will be the next one across the line. He's going to set a time 121.232, that's 3rd best thus far. Now we see Flavor in the Haas. 122.396, slowest of them all thus far. Lopez, 121.209. And now it's JR Footballer. He'll be the 7th driver to set a time here.
Yep, currently on board with Shoe to see if he improves anywhere at all. But he just touched gravel slightly coming around the second chicane, so I don't see improvement coming.
Football must have spun or slid into a gravel for a long time or something, because he only set a time of 148.928. So only 6 of our 10 drivers have set a competitive time, and 2 of them will not get a chance to set a time period right now. Zola is in the middle of an outlap right now in Sector 2, but he's pulling over to let other drivers by. I think he's going to try and get a bit of a draft off of some of them.
Yep, Shoe is currently up almost 4 tenths.
But will that be enough to move him up the grid very much? 4 tenths would be enough to potentially get him into the 20s.
Looks like a possibly P3. Depends how much he improves to in Sector 3.
He lost a little bit of it, but still goes up to P3, 120.053. But right now it seems like it's Herbago and Veloce feuding it out for the pole position.
Our pits.
JR Footballer is up by half a second at the end of Sector 1. He's up by 11 seconds at the end of Sector 2. So we should see Footballer put down a proper time, respective of what he can actually do now.
He's back off.
Never mind. He backs off, so I guess he is going to probably come into the pits, I imagine, maybe throw out a different set of tires. So now all the focus then goes to XRL Zola, who's basically all by himself on track. There is SFR Shu a little bit farther up the road from him, but I don't think the Red Bull's going to catch the McLaren.
Yeah, let's see what he does here.
Flying down that second DRS straight at the end of Sector 2, it's a 53.820 now through Ascari.
I think he's on for about P5 pace here.
Movement in the Mercedes camp, Herbago was already coming back out onto the circuit. Shu went for another lap, but again, that's 2 laps in a row. He has not improved.
P3 for
Zola, 121.001. And he still has fuel by the looks of it to do another flyer if he wants to.
Yep. Something to note here is how much his throttle input is fluttering. I'm not sure if he has an assist on or not, but he is coming out of like these hard like accelerating zones and how his throttle is like fluttering. Instead of like, it looks weird.
He's
to
up
me.
by over a tenth in Sector 1. Zola could be on pace to go faster.
So the key right here is getting a good exit out of level 2.
I think he's lost it. Those exit at the top of the circuit were not as clean as he was
No,
wanting, I
it
imagine.
looks like the car, like the rear. Oh, he's still up almost the same amount.
He's still up. He's still up by almost a tenth. Now that wouldn't be enough to get him challenging the top 2, but it would
Ooh, he
solidify
invalidates.
his time, and he invalidates.
Yeah, it looks like coming out of Lesmo 2, like the rear just got light on him. He turned and it looks like the rear tried oversteering. It looks like he either just put the power down on the curb or just naturally the setup just tried looks like it drifted on him a little bit and it lost him probably a little bit of extra speed that he could possibly gain.
So now the focus goes back to Herbago once more. He is at the top of the timesheets on provisional pole at the moment and has it by about 16 hundredths. But right now he is pushing to try and go faster to further lock in his position at the fastest. All right, coming to the party right now is XRL Jigsaw. Jigsaw, go ahead and include your audio. An incident between you and Lopez right at the start of Q3, and then the damage was terminal enough you retired in the pits. What happened?
I didn't retire because of the damage. I retired because I got 5 players with penalty and I don't really want to start in the mid-pack because it's a bit dangerous in it, so I'll start at the back and try and pull my way through the grid a bit.
Alright, what happened with you and Lopez out there?
I was moving out of the way for cars and then we both went the same way and then I don't think anything really happened and I panicked and went into the wall. It was no one's fault, we just went the same way and I was like, oh shit, and then in the moment I went into the wall a little bit, got a little bit of wing damage and then got a 5 first penalty and then like what's the point in setting a lap and starting in the midfield because then it's just carnage in it.
Alright, well you're going to be starting almost at the dead last trying to work your way up to the grid,
How
so
many drivers is there?
do you think
15.
about 15?
Yeah, so I'll be in 10th and then 5 back will put me in like 15th, won't it? So yeah, I'll be at the back.
Yeah, so do you have a plan then and a strategy that can get you back into the points paying positions?
Depends if I can start on the tire, if I have to start on the tire to qualify in Q2 and on whether I get my own tyres. If it's the same, then it'll just be medium sort it and go as long as possible.
Alright. Sorry to see this happen to you, mate, but good luck out
It's
there.
alright.
Yep, good luck.
Cheers, man.
Alright, that's the word from XO Jigsaw, who qualified for a final round qualifying, but is not even going to even be able to reap the rewards. Herbago spins on his cooldown lap in the second chicane.
Well,
He had just improved on that prior lap. He's at 120.369 right now, but now a spin.
Well, something to note there is that he should have been validated. He went way wide at the exit of Ascari and almost completely hit the
Wow!
wall. Holy smokes! Sack showing off his excellent pace already. Jesus. A 120.0?
120.089!
Oh my gosh. Someone called the police. He has stolen pole position.
Well, the session's not over yet, but I don't think there's anyone out there in position to really fight him. Oh, and Herbago! Hard into the wall! He's out! Herbago has a big accident coming out of Lesmos!
Well, I'm not sure if Herbago...
I'm sorry, not Lesmos, Ascari.
I'm not sure he's going to settle up anyway, but that can't be good. I wonder if that's going to like shake his confidence at all, because you're on a cooldown lap and you spin twice and hit the wall in DNF. Like, how does that can't help your mindset going to the race knowing that your car is possibly unstable on light fuel.
Oh, that was a massive impact, though. It looked like I caught the shot that we saw. It was relatively late in his run through Ascari there. It looked like he was already really struggling to save it.
Oh my goodness, Zola just almost completely pulled a Herbago and completely smashed on the wall out of Ascari. He caught it, he's invalidated, he can go for another run here, but oh my goodness. Drivers are completely pushing the limit here. As cars are like trying to stay hard on track.
So for Zola, 121.001, sixth fastest, but he knows he can go faster. Bauer Power is confident with this time. He's retired in the pit lane. He says, hey, look, Herbago's crashed out. No one else is even within half a second of my time. I can retire.
Yep, and Flavor was up about 7/10, so I'll see if he improves the position here. Nope. Let's see. Lopez currently down to 10.
And that's it. Time's up. Over. Plow.
So
Loche is invalidated this lap, so he's not going to go faster. Lopez is down. I think he's on a cooldown lap right now. Our footballer is down on time. Is Zola improving at all? Yeah, Zola's improved, but only by about... Yeah, that's not going to be much. That wouldn't even be enough to move him up into fifth.
He gained a lot of time out of that.
There's also SFR Shu, who's up by about 1/10 at the end of Sector 1. So Zola and Shu trying to claw some last-moment positions. Zola's car is at the lightest it's been this entire time, and Footballer has crashed out! Footballer has crashed out in the same place that Herbago did!
Zola.
And Shu invalidates!
Oh my goodness, how far was Shu was up by about the same amount. He wouldn't have gained much either, but he possibly could have jumped Zola. A lot.
Flavor's still on track, trying to get a lap in, trying to get one more slightly faster lap in, but he's about 7/10 off of Shu's time. Flavor's not really the strongest in single car qualifying. He's still gonna walk out here 8th. It's still gonna be respectable. Nah, he's down.
But, yep, down on the final time there.
Nutty, to say the least.
A lot of the drivers there clearly either pushing too hard, pushing the setup beyond where it's supposed to be. I mean, a lot of drivers there, surprising to me, crashed out. I mean, what does that bode for the race? Are we going to have a safety car filled race, or are drivers going to be scared to push at all?
I think we may see a race where we may not even see 10 drivers finishing at the end, simply because it seems like drivers are just struggling keeping their cars around the circuit. But anyways, at the top, it's going to be Bauer Power 9 taking pole position and is returned back to XRL. Herbago is second despite that massive accident. Third will be Veloci in the AlphaTauri. Fourth will be Lopez in the Red Bull. Fifth will be Dare Footballer in the Alfa Romeo. Sixth will be Zola in the other Red Bull. Seventh will be SFR Shu in the McLaren. Eighth will be XRL Flavor in the Haas. Ninth will be Dad Stop Game in the AlphaTauri. It says Jigsaw is 10th, but he's going to be serving a 5-spot grid penalty, so he is willingly retired early from this final session. He's going to be starting at about 14th, 15th position. So this is going to be really interesting. And again, remember, TF Mr. Shark serving a qualifying ban. Now he's going to be starting at about 11th, 10th position now, despite that.
What a...
Crazy how that kind of thing happens.
What a weird qualifying. That was one of my weirdest I've ever witnessed. That was insane.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with it, mate.
Oh, haha. Got that joke, goodness gracious.
Well, now it's the 5-minute wait until we get to the start of the race itself. So real quickly, let's go ahead and look at the championship standings as they are for the Dev Series. Starting with the manufacturer's title, Alfa Romeo is 10th, 19 points. 9th is Alfa Tauri with 25. 8th is Mercedes with 35. That brings them into a tie with Ferrari, who is in 7th, also with 35 points. 6th is the Alpine team with 37 points. 5th is Aston Martin with 38. 4th is McLaren with 47 points. 3rd is Williams with 49. 2nd is Haas with 52. 1st is Red Bull with 77 points. So really looking good there for Lopez and Zola. When it comes to the Drivers' Championship, things are a little bit different, but this is what things are looking like now. There's a three-way tie for 21st in the championship between Deja Vu TV, Herbago 91, and Basic 2. They all have a single point. 20th is Arctic Prodigy with 2 points. 19th, XRL Dragon has 4 points. 18th, I Get Dubs has 5. 16th and 17th, there's a tie, 6 points each for Level 6 BCN and Recent 13. 15th is XRL Jigsaw with only 7 points. 14th is Dad Stop Gaming, he has 13 points. 13th is Kinsey Retro, he has 14 points. 12th is Herbinator 13, he has 15 points at the moment. 11th is XRL Lopez, he is 16th, and that has brought him into a tie with Extreme F1, who is 10th, who also has 16 points. 9th is Davey Art 23 with 17 points. There is a three-way tie for 6th between TF Mr. Shark, PRUFC 1012, and XRL Flavor. All three of those drivers have 22 points at the moment. 5th is JR Footballer 26, he has 26 points. 4th is SFR Shu, he has 41 points. 3rd is Zengai 654, he has 45 points. And then your two championship fighters in the Dev Series. 2nd is XRL Velote, he has 51 points. 1st is XRL Zola, he has 61 points. I do want to say this real quickly. He's not going to be running today. He might be running tomorrow for the X1 race. But right now, only one man has ever been able to hold championship in two different series at the exact same time. That is XRL Matrix. He is your Defend X2 championship, and as of the end of last week's race, he is also your Realistic Series championship. So the only man in XRL history to hold two different titles at the same time. But right now, Veloce is putting himself in position to do the same. He is leading the points in the X3 series and is one of the two main title contenders for Dev right now. So we could see history being partially repeated here, both between Dev and X3 over these next few races. So anyways, real quickly as we look at the grid right now, only 14 drivers for this event. Jigsaw will be starting 14th on those worn medium tires. 13th is going to be Herbinator on fresh softs. 12th, Plastic Love. He is also starting on worn mediums. 11th, TF Mr. Shark served a qualifying ban. He's all sudden up in 11th. 10th, Level 6 Beastie, and he's going to be starting on fresh softs. 9th, Dad Stop Gaming. He really wants a yellow flag early on because he's going to be starting on softs that have 3 laps of wear on them. 8th is XRL Flavor. He'll be starting on worn softs. 7th, SFR Shu, the only man in the top 11 positions starting on medium tires. So watch him. He might end up bouncing up through the grid quite a bit as the race goes forward. 6th is XRL Zola. He's going to be starting on worn softs, as will JR Footballer, who's 5th. Row 2 will have XR Lopez and XR Veloce. The front row, Herbago 91 and Bauer Power 9 fighting for that top spot as we prepare to get underway for a race here at Monza.
According to Zola, dry race with only 82% chance of rain, so looking dry for the whole way.
Alright, and that will be great to hear then for a lot of the drivers. Wetness here at Monza, definitely a bit of a headache when it does happen.
Oh yeah.
So right now we're just waiting to get underway for the race itself. Come on.
Ooh, we are starting.
Yep, I'll be focusing on the front, but if you see something near the back, go ahead and cut me off immediately.
Alright, I'll make sure to do that with pleasure.
Four lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out. Away we go here at Monza. And right off the bat, it looks like everyone's gotten off the line okay. It looks like Herbago is going to outdrag Bauer Power into turn 1. Bauer really trying to throw it up on the outside, neck and neck as they go through that first chicane. The Mercedes does take the spot. Veloce up in the third, Zola in fourth. Yellow flag farther back. That's level 16.
Shark is off.
Going to the back of the grid.
Shark is off both McLarens. Looks like he fell through the field. Either didn't get a good start or got caught in contact, got shoved off circuit, something. Both McLarens have the first positions. Plastic glove up in the 10th. Looking for a move on Jigsaw there, P9. Jigsaw's off.
Oh, Jigsaw's off!
He's medium. Everything's gone on Jigsaw. Jigsaw on those mediums already have the grid in place. He's going to have to hit lap 1 for damage.
And he was hoping that starting in the back would end up letting him avoid incidents, but that does not seem to be what's happened. Meanwhile, at the front, though, it is...
Herbago.
Don't do this. Yeah, it's Herbago right now, barely holding off Bauer Power as they go through a Ascari right now. And Zola has worked his way into fourth behind title rival Veloce. Flavor has filtered himself all the way up into the 5th position right now. And Lopez is stuck behind Herbinator, so Herbinator has really crawled up to the grid after not making it into the second round of qualifying.
Yeah, he started, I believe, P14, so he had a fantastic start. Let's see here.
Stop Gaming, XRL Jigsaw, Jigsaw and Shu both coming into the pits to repair damage to their cars. Lopez, the Herbinator fighting for that position out of the chicane. And Footballer has a good look on both of them, but it looks like Lopez will keep the position over the Williams for a bit longer. And it looks like we've had although there are 2 drivers who did take some damage, it looks like we've had a relatively green start to this race. And with that in mind, we're going to see this formation of DRS trains sooner rather than later.
Well, it already looks like I talked about, a DRS train is already going to form, probably starting not even really like a train. Because you have Veloce 1.6 off the leaders who are currently just pulling away. You then have Flavors 1.7 off Zola, so you may see there's a couple, maybe 2-3 trains that might start, but it's there's gonna be a lot
more
of
like
packs.
just pairs and triples then, I guess.
Almost like pack racing, you have a couple together, another few together, another few. As Bauer is going for it here.
Right underneath the Mercedes. He doesn't care about DRS. He wants to make this overtake on sheer driver ability. Looking around the outside. Mercedes jumps over the curb, and they very nearly made contact, Verstappen and Hamilton style, but Herbago keeps the Mercedes ahead.
Bauer's burning energy here. He's trying to come back. They're both burning, and he's going around the outside down to the chicane.
Will they be able to hold it over the curbs? The answer... yes! Easy overtake!
Oh my goodness,
and Bauer goes to the front.
Herbago goes back through.
Herbago going around the outside now. And as these two keep fighting, the Mercedes goes into the dirt. Bauer back on the inside. Side by side to the following corner. They make contact. No, Herbago barely has the position.
Bauer's got DRS. He's probably going to go for it here.
Looking to the outside. There's no defense that the Mercedes has. He can't deal with it. He'll let the Alfa Romeo go back and forth as they now head to Ascari.
What a lap for you. Oh my goodness. I mean, back and forth and back and forth. Neither are getting good exits out of 2-3 corners there. So currently,
and while those two were fighting, it dragged Veloce and Zola into it. So now we do have a train out of nowhere. 4 cars fighting for a lead. Everyone trying to run down Bauer here at Monza. DRS now in Herbago's favor as they run down to that first chicane. Will he be able to get inside of him in the braking zone? He looks to the inside, thinks better of it. He'll stay just tucked behind the Alfa Romeo for now. Twitch from the Mercedes, gets sideways. Here comes Veloce.
That's what I'm talking about. These curves are violent here. He looks like he clipped it too much on the inside, possibly cut the orange section of that turn 1 curve, and it kind of launched him. He lost a little bit. Look at this, launching into P2.
Contact! And Veloce now goes up into second.
Herbago's left his front wing. Ooh, but he is sliding around. Does not look confident. Maybe tires a little overheated here. Does not look confident on power at all right now.
And now it means that Zola's chance to try and close in on the Mercedes ahead.
Well, Bauer has probably a 1.2 gap. He might run away now and just check out of the race. Ooh.
Incident. Dad Stop Gaming on those very worn tires have spun in that second chicane. Zola not closing on Herbago with any significant speed. He's actually fallen out of DRS range, but Flavor has fallen behind Herbinator, and Herbinator is trying to barrel down on Lopez. And we saw when Lopez was running those extended sessions. Accident! Farther back! That's Plastic Love in the Ferrari! He's spun coming out of Ascari!
Well, that was just its fastest lap. Here comes Dad's stop.
Herbinator on Lopez. The Williams going to be forced to look to the outside. Lopez just drifts a little bit wide to try and block it off. Williams right behind the Honda-powered Red Bull as they come out of the front stretch chicane.
Lopez has almost no battery left. Herbinator in the advantage here. Could see an ERS tactical battle being played out across multiple drivers. Zola currently has 70% battery here. Ooh, Love is trying to get out of turn 2.
Bauer! Your race leader! He's crashed!
Too.
And not only is he crashed, Loche has crashed as well! And major championship implications as our race leader and your second in driver's championship crashed out in lap 5!
Oh my goodness, that's a really safety car. This is exactly what like Dad stop and some people back need. Pit early onto possibly mediums now, and possibly trying to extend those to the end, but by the looks of it, it looks like Bauer possibly accelerated too hard on the outside curb of Lesmo 1, or he clipped the inside of the curb and spun himself. Either way, he hit the inside barrier. His car did not go since he came back on circuit. Veloce so close behind, there's nowhere to go, hits him, knocks his front right off, and both are out of the race.
And this now puts Herbago into the race lead, and Zola very crucially in second will be in a perfect chance to extend his championship lead. Lopez, Herbinator staying out on circuit. Herbago and Zola paying out of the top 2 positions. This also promotes Flavor up into third as we see JR Footballer and Level 6 Beastian and TF Mr. Shark all pitting right now. Level 6 Beastian, yeah, that's not going to help him very much. The AlphaTauri of Dad Stop Gaming, he'll now come into the pit lane. Plastic Love, he's on medium tires. He's going to stay out, unsurprisingly, and use this to pick up a few positions. And for Jigsaw and Shu, who are involved in that lap 1 incident, they now will be able to filter right back up through the grid a bit, and all that time they lost early on has basically been eradicated.
Yep, Shu there taking a free pit stop, getting off his softs, probably jumping on mediums like a few other drivers. Gonna be interesting to see if those mediums will make it. I mean, 22 laps is gonna be a long time to try and make those mediums last, but I mean, it could be done. Just they might be like punctured territory by the end if they are staying out the whole time.
Herbago has had an incident under the safety car because he's lost his entire front wing. He had an incident coming out of pit lane and he has destroyed his front wing. So Herbago, who was fighting with Zola for third place, was all of a sudden in position to walk out here second. Now the entire front wing's off that Mercedes. He's going to have to pit again to repair damage.
Yeah, it is not a good
Curiouser and
situation.
curiouser.
I wonder if he hit somebody coming out of the pits there, possibly find a position. Maybe he spun at some point. I don't know. Just not a good
Probably had an
situation.
instant going through one of the chicanes while trying to race to catch up to the back of the grid. But this now promotes Plastic Love up into 5th position, despite having spun about a lap ago.
Plastic Love is going to benefit him massively off this. Is Herbago now goes into the pits. What does he pit on? Does he have another set of mediums to touch those? My question is, he put on hards?
Now it looks like they have a set of mediums they're going to toss onto that car here.
Looks like probably.
But this will drop him to about. It looks like this will drop him into about 11th position.
Yep.
Because we do see Dad Stop Gaming overtake him, but her SFR Shoe has not yet caught the back of the grid.
Could be close. He's supposed to go the whole pit lane. I think his shoe's going to get him. It's going to be close.
No, you're right. It looks like the McLaren will take it. Oof.
Oh my, that was close.
Yep. Well, now we wait for Dad Stop Gaming, SFR Shu, and Herbago to recatch the back of the grid, and then we should be going green on lap 9 of this on lap 8 of this event. Then, one benefit about racing at Monza, because so much of the circuit is focused on high speed, the differential between a flying lap or catch-up lap and the pace lap is massively different. So it's very easy to gather the field back up here compared to a lot of other circuits, such as Hungarian or Monaco.
Yep.
Already, the McLaren SFR shoe already just 6 seconds out, 5 seconds out, 4 seconds out, 3 seconds out, 2.5 seconds, 1 second. He's basically caught the back of the grid now, so we should be going green this lap, I imagine. Yep, there's the word safety car in this lap.
But also just going
All
back
right,
to the
12.
championship here, Zola probably now just thinking about finishing the racing, maximizing his position, but not risking too much because he's got his championship rival out.
And the other thing to consider, Lopez is now leading this race. Now the top 3 have not yet. Oh, Herbago has just had a collision with Shu at the back. And Herbago's race goes from bad to worse.
Oh my goodness, does he have damage again is the question, or did he do the game glitch of a slight safety car tap? No,
No, there's damage to that car.
Right,
Yep.
airplane is gone.
Well, we're going green.
Again.
Yeah, well, green flag is out onto the circuit. Herbinator, Lopez once again taking their fight up as Flavor and Zola start feuding for 3rd, and Plastic Love is there in 5th. He wants to get by Zola before Zola's tires are properly up to the pace. Ferrari, look at the inside of the Red Bull. He throws his nose up in their backs at the last second.
It's very close there, but clean. Shark!
Oh, Alpine, Shark. And now, there's a 3-wide fight behind him, and AlphaTauri and 2 McLarens. Dadstop goes to the inside grass and has to give up the position. Shu is going to try and rocket around the inside of the Alpine. Neck and neck as they go into the chicane. Who's going to keep it together?
Clean racing there, waiting for Shark to give space. Shark to give Shu the space. Lost the position there, but still fighting alive because those curves are very
And
dangerous.
Flavor
side by
has
side.
got... There's Herbinator has dropped down the order. Herbinator's not been able to make anything happen. He is hemorrhaging positions. Oh, it's swerving right in front of Mr. Shark right now. Now Flavor is up in the 2nd.
Ooh, Shark going for a position here at Ascari. Okay, it doesn't appear that Herbinator has any damage, but it looks like he may have had like an incident, either drove in the grass or something, got damaged. Zola's in a P2, it's a Red Bull 1-2.
Flavor is there, but Flavor does not seem to have a setup that enables him to properly fight for position right now, as Jigsaw and Plastic Love vie for the 4th and 5th positions going down the back straightaway. Plastic Love really making good work of those medium tires around the outside of the Aston Martin. Now Jigsaw does have the lane choice through the chicane, but you can see he's struggling to put the power down. Side by side, Jared Footballer and Shu fighting out of the chicane, and it will be Shu who holds that position. Dead stop into the pits. They're throwing on hard tires.
A lot of these drivers here, top 6, almost all of them are separated by over a second gap. We could see a couple of breaks here.
Closest battles on the circuit right now seems to be between Plastic Love and SFR Shu, as that Ferrari-McLaren duo goes through Ascari here. Plastic Love has a bit of a twitch, but saves it before he has to commit to the final bit. And then there's this 3-way fight for 10th. Herbinator leaving Herbago and Dad Stop Gaming. And that fight is going to be for the last points-paying position, assuming no one else drops out in this event. DRS enabled. Flavor just does not have the pace right now. He is hemorrhaging time, and it's actually letting Jigsaw in 4th position close in with speed.
What a turnaround for Jigsaw.
Oh, and Love off circuit in the chicane, and that moves Shu up into the 5th spot.
See if JR Football can capitalize on plastics. Probably overheated tires at this point, maybe damage. Yeah, Shu's, like you said, hemorrhaging time. Shu plastic. Jesus. Why if he wasn't?
Alright, Jigsaw gets DRS, and he's going to make an easy DRS overtake against Flavor. on the first of the 2 back straightaways, and now he starts trying to barrel down on the leaders. Zola has gotten by his teammate Lopez because Lopez's on tires are 6 laps older, so Zola has now inherited the dominant spot of this race.
Is that possibly a team strategy to help Lopez?
Oh, around! Plastic Glove!
Oh, and he looks like
he's not the only one!
He collected
JR
somebody.
Footballer! Yeah, JR Footballer looks like Footballer spun. I saw that Alfa Romeo spin. JR Footballer spun, and I think Plastic Glove swerved to avoid and went off circuit. Somehow we stayed green.
That's a miracle we stayed green there, but he is off circuit. But either his love has or picking for new tires. Footballer is looks like possibly overheated. I haven't seen any damage. We'll see if he continues here.
All right, and coming to the party now is Plastic Love in the Ferrari. Love, accident qualifying, accident in the race at the same place. What happened? All right, rough to see you knocked out like this, mate, considering that you were the only Ferrari here today. Do you think you can maybe rebound next week? Alright, well, thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us. It's a travesty to see you out like this, mate. And that's the word from Plastic Love. Drag race between Flavor and Shu going down the second back straightaway. For the moment, the Haas has position, but the McLaren is bound to get it back in the following DRS zone. However, Jigsaw is absolutely flying. He's already moved up into second position and is barreling down on Zola here. So I said it looked like Zola's going to walk off with this, but Jigsaw is on way older tires than Zola, and he's still faster. Yeah.
Because my thing is that Jigsaw started on medium, so he technically, if he wants to, he could stretch these tires another lap or two, hit for a new set of
No,
softs.
he can't because Jigsaw's not going to be able to do that, though. Oh, and Zola just got a time penalty. Jigsaw's not going to be able to do that because you're required to set 2 laps on an alternate set of tires. He didn't. He only got 1 lap around because remember, Jigsaw lap 1 damage. So he does have to get onto a different set of tires still at some point in the event.
I don't believe that it's 1 lap. All you have to do is set 1 lap on a different set of tires, and you're good, I thought.
Oh, well, if you're right, then Jigsaw may have just made the overtake for this race because he is faster than everyone else on track.
So
but that's
why?
assuming those softs will last to the end. I don't know if those softs that already have 9 laps of wear on them will last another 15 laps.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to have to pit for another set of softs, I'm guessing, at some point. But that's also a great strategy because he's going to be on the quick set of tires while everyone's going to be on their old mediums and hards at the end.
Good lord, you want to talk about how fast Jigsaw is? In a single straightaway, Jigsaw has outrun the DRS between himself and Zola. So absolutely no one is in fighting range with that Aston Martin right now.
I'm expecting Jigsaw to pull it now and not because I think Zola had it for detection, had a bad parabolic on it. Jigsaw flew off a little bit again, but yeah, only a couple. Yeah, there's the second.
Fight farther back for 8th and 9th. Herbinator holding out in the 8th position. Herbago trying to recover as he is running 9th right now. But even if Herbago gets by Herbinator, oh, and Lopez now gets a time penalty for corner cutting on his outlap on new tires.
That is not good.
And Herbago now completes the overtake on Herbinator on the front straightaway before they get to the first chicane, and now we see the Mercedes trying to get away from the Williams now. And with that, that's the only active battle on track. All the other battles have pretty much deteriorated at this point. Oh, contact! The Williams is coming back on the Mercedes. They've made contact going through turn 2, now through the chicane. They get contact again. They both get into each other, and Herbinator muscles his way back ahead of Herbago. That was aggressive.
There. Holy smokes, getting the elbows out, keeping your position, fighting for your section of track. Great racing there.
Yeah, but now it goes back in Herbago's favor because he has DRS on this straightaway. There's not really any chance for the Williams to defend.
Flavors in the pits.
now Herbago needs to outrun Herbinator, but Herbinator actually closes on the straightaway, so he's definitely going to have DRS in the Williams. Assuming he exits Parabolica properly, he's going to get by him, or at least alongside him, into the braking zone.
Thing is that Herbinator's out of his ERS, his battery is almost completely empty here, so defense is going to be even harder now with Herbago having almost 50% in his tank of ERS. As side by side.
Oh, they make
my
contact.
goodness.
Wheels locked for a moment, but somehow Herbinator completed. He's by. But now we look back. Herbago is coming back on the outside again.
That's not like that.
Oh, Mercedes jumps over the curbs. I'm shocked it didn't damage the car. He got ahead, but it was offline, and Herbinator is back in front. These two cars are driving horrible right now.
Just not. I thought it was clean racing, but it looks to be a little bit sketchy here. I mean, multiple collisions.
I mean, I don't think it's a case that they're actively trying to harm each other. These cars just do not seem to be very happy with their setup right now.
Seems like it's the case for a lot of these drivers here. Setups just don't seem to be like either perfected for their driving style or that comfortable with fuel on tire wear. It seems like they just aren't comfortable. Maybe it's just curbs. I don't know. It just seems like the setups are not there for Monza.
All right, I think right now, Herbago's got it now because Herbago is about 3/4 of a second away from Herbinator. And while Herbinator will have DRS, he's not going to be alongside of him and fighting him going into the chicane this time. So I think Herbago finally will get a chance to pull away from that Williams and try to make up some of those other positions he's lost.
Yeah, because I definitely see Herbago going to the end here. So it's just how much can he gain? Because the only pit stop I see now happening possibly is Zola and Jigsaw at the front. Otherwise, I don't see anybody else pitting.
And if those two are required to pit out of the top two positions, which we are anticipating due to the way tire wear is going to happen, that would give the race lead to SFR Shu. Shu, though, wouldn't be happy with inheriting the lead off that. I think Shu wants to take
Zola's
this lead
pit.
on track. Zola's into the pits. So now Shu is trying to barrel down on Jigsaw, but there's still a 6.2 second gap between himself and the leading Aston Martin.
I think Zola might come out near the McLaren Beastian here. Maybe his teammate. We'll see. Oh, looking like his teammate.
Yep, Beastian ahead of Zola. It looks like Zola. Lopez
pit.
is pitting now. There's something wrong with that car
What if he
because
got
he
damaged
was
or
on
something?
relatively fresh tires. Yeah, they're replacing the front
5
wing
second penalty
and
for his
serving his
wing.
time penalty as well. So Lopez serving a penalty, so this is not going to help Red
Wing
Bull
change.
in
He
the
got damaged, I
Manufacturers
think, from an
Championship.
incident and came in.
Yeah, well, this is not going to help Red Bull in the Manufacturers Championship because this is going to drop them to 10th, last of the points-paying positions.
Herbago has not pulled away from Herbinator here. Herbinator is still sitting about a tenth or two behind him.
The Williams seems to be content to just run behind the Mercedes for the moment because he knows that he'll get DRS shortly. And there we are, Jigsaw's paying out of the lead. So now SFR Shu inherits the race lead. The question now is how far can Shu pull away from everyone else? Because Jigsaw, the fastest man on the track, if they put on soft tires on that car, which they do, he is going to be trying to run down that McLaren these closing laps.
See if he loses the position to Shark here is going to be a key thing. So if he has to battle Shark, that's going to hurt him, and he will have to.
But if he has to battle him, it may depend on where he catches him. Because if he catches him in a DRS zone, he could just easily walk by without too much of an issue. Might not cause him a problem.
Ooh, footballers around.
Footballer outside of Ascari.
There are cars coming. He can't sit still too long. He might get disqualified here.
There he is. He's moving now. And Zola has caught level 6 Beastian for 4th now. Zola on fresh mediums, Beastian on worn mediums. And it's getting dark out. Now, they said that it was looking like it would be green close to the end of this race, but, oh, Herbinator and Herbago back at it side by side again. These two will not get away from each other.
Ooh, looking down the inside here, possibly. keeping his. Ooh.
He's thinking of it. Jigsaw, easy overtake on Mr. Shark in the DRS position, so Jigsaw already up into second. Herbago holds the position over Herbinator for a bit longer. Zola, meanwhile, is barreling down on level 6 BCM for fourth. He has the tire advantage.
Herbinator made a mistake out of the second chicane with getting on the power, lost DRS to Herbinator, but it looks to be clawing back with some ERS usage.
And now Zola will have DRS on the McLaren, and he overtakes the McLaren before they even get out of Parabolica. He's gonna have DRS. He basically has an entire free straightaway of extra speed. So good job on Zola. So now the fight is between SFR Shu and XRL Jigsaw. Jigsaw has 10 laps to try and close a 14-second gap between himself and the leading McLaren. And the question, of course, for Jigsaw is, once he catches him, will he be able to pass him?
I think advantage is in Shu's court. He's so far ahead with so little laps remaining. Jigsaw has to gain a second plus lap as he clips gravel there on the second chicane. He has to gain over a second a lap. Maybe near 1.5 seconds to try and catch him now. That is a high mountain to climb on tires that last about how long he's going to be on there. But he did have some incredible pace, so we'll see, but...
I definitely think Jigsaw can catch Shu, but will he be able to pass him without issue? That's going to be the issue. And the fight for 7th continues. Herbago has the advantage over Herbinator. The Herbinator is on slightly fresh tires and is taking use of that to really hound Herbago. Shu's paying out the lead. That's it. Race over. Shu pitting out at the top spot.
Oh my. So Jigsaw is now just guaranteed to win basically because he's already like... How far is he?
He's going to be about like 15. He's going to be, well, Mr. Shark is going to inherit second, so he's still 4 seconds ahead of Mr. Shark, but Mr. Shark is on older, slower tires, and Shu is now going to get dropped back to about the 5th position here with his teammate Beastian.
If Shu pissed, that makes me wonder if Beastian and Shark are going to pit on those meetups, because they were the same lap age that Shu was on when he pit.
Continue to watch the battle for 7th. Herbinator has DRS on the Mercedes.
Ooh, squeeze to the inside, some contact.
That was a squeeze.
There was some contact
But
on
Williams
that
has his nose ahead, and he'll take it. He'll get the position this time. How aggressively does Herbago fight back?
Herbago has almost a full battery though. Herbinator is almost out. He is out. So Herbago's in the advantage here. It's just does he... Oh, lockups too. Oh my goodness, these two are going to cause either each other DNF or pit at this point because they just keep clocking each other with their elbows. So, I mean...
But they can afford to do this because as long as they don't damage their cars, they're not closing on Flavor by any means. Flavor has tires that are just way better, and he's not fighting with anyone else. Lopez is back there at 9th, and while he's closing on fresher rubber, Lopez is over 15 seconds out. I think these two can just be free to fight like this to the end if they think it's the best thing to do.
I don't think so.
Herbago overtakes Herbinator in the The Mercedes very nearly lost it out of Ascari, and now here comes Herbinator starting back with a head of steam.
Herbago let off the gas so that Herbinator by for DRS. He purposely, like, you could see it, he shifted down a gear, let off throttle, and let Herbinator go. He's just trying to make it past you with DRS and ERS.
Williams slides to the inside. He wants to defend the inside lane. And now comes up the circuit. Contact! And he merges sideways into him. But the Mercedes is ahead for the moment. The Williams sends it under braking.
Oh,
and they both miss the corner.
Off circuit is Herbinator. And he's
they're around! And he turns him! He topped him! He turned him!
That's what I was talking about. Both of them were fighting so hard they were going to cause either each other damage or for them to spin. I mean, that was almost coming just because of how hard they were fighting. That was bound to happen.
And Herbinator dumps Herbago, and Herbago falls to 9th now behind Lopez.
Zola is getting attacked by Shu. Shu looking for a move here on the front straight. Looks like he backed off to not make a move here. Looking for DRS.
No, he's going for it.
They're playing DRS games.
Yeah, they're playing DRS games. Who has the better acceleration, a McLaren or a Red Bull? The answer going down the straight?
Well, looks like it's going to be a McLaren
like it's even, but the McLaren has, yeah, you're right. McLaren with the DRS is going to, wow, that was a late swerve. but he does take it. So Shu back up into third, and now he's going to have to try and run down Mr. Shark ahead to get back into second position. But the race winner is going to be XRL Jigsaw, assuming he does not wreck out in these closing... Yeah, he needs to not wreck in these closing laps, but right now it seems automatic. He is... Herbago! Instant! Coming out of Ascari! It's right in the middle of the racing line! He needs to get going! The car's kind of stalled! He barely gets moving in time. Dad Stop Gaming and TR Football will get by at Herbago, who qualified second, is now out of the points.
At this point, he pissed to see if he can get fastest lap, but he's going to get lapped here. Here's Jigsaw right now.
TR Footballer making a run on Dad Stop Gaming for the 9th spot. He has DRS going down the main straightaway. Neck and neck between the two of them.
Footballer ahead.
And now Footballer takes it. Herbago comes into the pits. He wants off those worn tires. And Shu is already pulled over 2 seconds away from Zola. He's already barreling down on the Alpine of Mr. Shark. But I just want to say, Mr. Shark, incredible run. Was not allowed to qualify. Got lucky. Started a little bit higher than anyone else. Didn't have to worry about getting caught in anyone else's instance early on. He's up in second, and although Shu's probably going to overtake him, Mr. Shark is going to turn a no qualifying race into a podium finish for himself. That's an outstanding job.
Because, yeah, Zola has a penalty too, so unless Zola can run down that, like, looks like it'd be about 5-second gap, he's set to go. Well, it's about 3 seconds now. Shu is on him now, so maybe this fighting will draw in Zola. We'll see.
Well, Shu's going to catch Shark right in the DRS zone, so this should be an easy open and shut case for McLaren to get by the Alpine.
Yeah, Shark is on 15th lap old medium, so he's going to be hurting here. I'm expecting Zola to catch him too.
And there we are. Shu is by, up into second now. But the gap between first and second has extended out to about 12 seconds at this point in the event. So as long as Jigsaw just keeps the car on track to race in, it is his win.
Yep.
But for Zola, who's in fourth, this is still going to be great for him because, at least in the Drivers' Championship, his closest rival, Veloce, did not finish. Zola's going to walk out of here, further extending his points lead. He's almost going to have a full race worth of points in the bag.
Yep. Shark does have DRS though, so Shu may help him drag him along a little bit. So we'll see if how this plays out.
Now, Shark's already lost Shu.
Yep.
So with that in mind, all the battles on track have pretty much evaporated.
Yep, well, I'm sitting on Borzola just trying to see if he'll close down this time. He's got 5 laps to do it, so.
It's a 2.4 second gap. Zola is on fresher mediums than Shark. And they both have 3 seconds each at the moment.
From what I can tell, Shark is already over 50% one of his mediums. This is just wide again. So he is going to be hurting where Zola still looks to be fairly new, possibly on about 20% range. Ooh, I see raindrops. Rain is falling right now.
And rain and the closing moments of this race, how does that change anything? Will the track stay dry enough for these final laps or not?
We'll see. Looks like it's falling at a pretty good click here. So you mentioned those clouds earlier, and it looks like that has come to fruition. Because now it becomes a challenge of, as this track gets wetter over these next few laps, if it stays dry enough for slicks, is keeping it on track at that point, because it's going to be slippery.
It's still about 3.5 laps to go.
DRS is still enabled, and Zola is now within DRS of Shark here. Let's see what happens.
He's going to want to get by that Alpine fast. Ooh, bit of a twitch. But he's still within DRS range. Ideally for Zola is that he navigates Ascari perfectly, tucks right up behind the Alpine, and then DRS overtakes him on the front straightaway.
Yup. Ooh. Zola seemed very cautious on throttle here. He's like kind of half touching.
I don't think he's going to get him. Zola, I think, is overreacting maybe to the threat of potential rain, so he's not pushing as hard in the corners, but that's going to cost him because that means he's not going to be able to fully utilize the DRS. But Shark is swerving coming out of the corners as well. They both just seem to not be happy right now. I think both of them are overreacting to the rain at the moment.
Well, that or Shark was swerving to try and break DRS. Wow, Zola puts a lot in that braking zone. Shark may not be confident as 18 lap old mediums either, especially with how worn they are. He could be just trying to save those tires. He's got 13 seconds back to Beastian, so at most he loses his position here to Zola for P4 and settles for that because Beastian is so far back.
And Beastian has more time penalty against him than these two as well, but it's 3 laps to go at the moment. Zola has caught Mr. Shark. Red Bull versus Alpine fighting. Yellow flag. Hermago's out! And Hermago's out! No safety car.
Nope, too late, I think.
We stay green. Zola barrels down and easily overtakes the Alpine on that second DRS straightaway and throws it, and the Alpine runs into him and going into Ascari.
He doesn't have damage. I think he'll be okay to continue, but yeah. I think this is where he's going to have some. He's gained some time on Beastian. Beastian, I think, is struggling as well. Yeah, Beastian and Shark both on 18 lap old mediums. I think trying to go to the end, but Flavor is 6/10 out from gaining the 5-second advantage on the penalty that Beastian has. So, well, he's now back almost 6 seconds. So if he can close within this last lap or two here.
Yeah, Mr. Shark has pretty much completely lost touch with Zola now. I'm honestly shocked that there's not damage on that car, frankly.
There might be.
Or at least not any that we can see.
But there could be damage.
The rain seems to have let up just a bit. I'm still seeing drops fall, but not enough to properly get the track wet.
No.
So I think we're going to be good to the end of this race.
Oh, 100%. If you even think if it downpoured right now, you'd at least risk one final lap. Why would you pit here and risk losing more positions with this rainfall?
Yeah. Well, at the front is XRL Jigsaw as he has closed in behind JR Footballer and will... yeah, he's going to put him a lap down.
Well, that means JR Footballer, I think, finishes right here then, right? He's going to cross the finish.
No, because Jigsaw's taking the white flag now. So everyone's going to have to take one more lap.
Yep.
But Jigsaw, recovering from a penalty in qualifying, starting dead last, worked his way up to the grid, more pace than anyone else after Bauer, Power, and Veloce crashed out, and is going to walk off with this victory here at the Citadel of Speed here in Italy.
Yeah, I mean, Jigsaw, my driver of the day, completely pulled almost like last first challenge after taking a collision that wasn't his fault in qualifying. Taking it on the chin, pushing through it, and just completely drove his race today and stormed the field.
And it looks like we're going to have exactly 10 drivers finishing this race. So everyone who's running at the end will receive points. Yeah, everyone's so spread out now. There are a few pairs of cars on track, but they're on alternate laps to each other at the moment.
Yep.
So out of the final corner, Jigsaw and the Aston Martin can celebrate confidently, knowing that he is in a great position for his X3 title run tomorrow after winning Dev here today. SFR Shoe in the McLaren is going to come home with a second place finish in that papaya orange machine.
Yep. Zola can come
And
on
third
P3.
place, yeah, and Zola makes a tighter grip on his hold on the Dev Championship right now. And TF Mr. Shark, after missing qualifying, is going to come home with a 4th place finish, a very respectful run today. 5th will go to level 6 Beastian here.
Yep, Flavor's not close enough to make that gap, so he will not catch him. Yep, 3 tenths.
And Herbinator, after that long, drawn-out, knuckle-slamming fight with Herbago, he will walk home in the 8th position because he's going to finish 7th, but he has a time penalty while Lopez does not.
Yep,
So Herbinator
Lopez
is
is
going
right
to take
here.
home 8th, and Lopez will get 7th.
That is our race at Dev.
Definitely an interesting race, to say the least. Alright, and coming to the party right now is XRL Jigsaw. Jigsaw, go ahead and include your audio. At incident in Q3, you started dead last, but then after the 2 fastest drivers crashed out early on, you took easy control of this race. Walk us through the event from your perspective.
I thought lap 1 damage. I got damaged on turn 1 and the
Yeah, you
at
did.
the start of the race. I thought, oh, that's it now. I need a safety car, and then it came a few laps later. Didn't pit, but I was flying through after that, and then it was all academic, wasn't it, really? If Bauer and Veloce hadn't died, then it might have been a different story, but we'll take that for tomorrow, you know? Bit of a confidence boost.
Indeed. Mate, just to say, it was absolutely incredible what you pulled off out there. Did you have any concern at all when the rain started falling late near the end there?
No, like, it was never going to be wet enough for Inters, so just got to be a bit more careful because the track's a bit slippier. But apart from that, it was alright.
Alright. Well, Jigsaw, it was a fantastic run for you today. However, there's still a lot more Monza racing to go on throughout the rest of this weekend. Let's see if you're going to be able to replicate it in other events.
Yeah, thank you. I could drive this track for 24 hours, so yeah, I love it.
Oh, okay, we'll keep that in mind then.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Alright, peace out, and thanks
Alright,
for being
cheers.
willing to jump in. Congratulations.
Yeah,
So
cheers.
that is the word from Extra Jigsaw. And in a race where it seems like starting up front wasn't really the way to go. It seemed like the drivers who did really well were starting midfield or near the back. So very interesting the way that turned out today.
Yep, I think it was also just saying kudos to him on like keeping his nose clean. I mean, he had to make up that whole field. He was, I believe, mid-pack or back of the pack when that first safety car came out. Had to keep his nose clean, made the right moves, did it cleanly. I mean, just a great driver overall today.
Yep. Well, with that in mind, that will bring us to an end here of our broadcast for Dev. But in about an hour's time, you can catch us. Well, actually, it'll be an hour and 15 minutes, roughly, because we got through qualifying and the race relatively quickly. In about an hour and 15 minutes, I'll be hosting the season finale for the Realistic League, which also will be taking place on Monza on this exact same channel. Then tomorrow, 5 p.m. UK time on this channel, Noel Kinsey Retro will be doing the broadcast for X1. At the same time on the alternate channel, I'll be doing the broadcast for X3. And then 8 p.m. UK time tomorrow will be the X2 race at Monza as well. Until then, I've been your host, Insane Layer 13. I've been joined today by PPR Venom. I want to say thank you very much for jumping in, and we'll see you next time.